Alrighty, episode 6. The intro music was bumping. I was jamming. It is a great day to have a great day. So let's have a great day. Well, welcome back to the Triple J podcast. This is Nick Jeldricks. I'm the founder and director of Triple J. If you don't know me or what Triple J is, essentially it is a platform that pursues to educate you, and potentially you are a digital marketer, an entrepreneur, an executive, or just a business professional, and we want to provide the best content on the planet that helps you expand and grow your business and brand. And whether it's for your business or for your own personal enjoyment, my goal is to provide you with industry-first deliverables that analyze market trends and assist your strategies for building your marketing principles. All right, our podcast, we have what's called shows within the show. Today's show is our second Q&A, where, as you probably guessed, is where you provide the questions and I give you the answers. Other times we have other segments on the show. For example, we'll have marketing case study deep dives. One is coming up very shortly here in the next few days on my latest case study, which, if you have not taken a look at already, is already available on my LinkedIn or on my website at triplejstudios.com. Okay, you can take a look at the latest case study there to get a first glimpse. And these videos typically range within 45 to 60 minutes. We also have other episodes where I scour the internet and take a look at the latest and emerging marketing trends and news and give you insight and my perspective on if you should or should not incorporate these practices into your business. We also have what's called Real Talk. Real Talk typically is a 5 to 20 minute segment where I give you my advice or real talk on various topics ranging from marketing to personal development to discipline, or even some of my hot takes personally. And I do have those. And finally, we'll have the typical run-of-the-mill guest format to where I will invite a guest on the show. We'll talk all things marketing and personal development. And really, how can you brand yourself to become a better you? It's a project that is coming up here very shortly, so I'm excited to share with you that project here very soon. Before we begin, I have what is called the fee, and this is the one thing I ask from the show. If you find it valuable in any sort of way, if it makes you think, if it makes you laugh, or if you think somebody would appreciate this show, the only thing I ask is that you simply share the show, and that's it. You can post it on your Instagram, any other format, word of mouth, whatever. That's all I ask. It's nice if you want to go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter or follow me on platforms. I'm not going to ask you to do that, okay? But what I do ask is that if you find it valuable, share the show. And in turn, if you don't think it's valuable, you don't have to share it. But obviously, my goal is to make it as valuable as possible. Hence, we're doing the show. All right, big intro, but let's get into our Q&A. So if you have not seen our first Q&A, the format is very simple. I go through and answer and hear 3 questions and provide you with the 3 corresponding answers. So we're going to get right into this one right after I have a quick sip of coffee. This to get me excited for all of these amazing questions. All right. Let's start with question 1. Question 1 reads, "Hey, Nick, I just came across your brand and I've been enjoying your podcast and case studies so far. My question for you is, what does Triple J mean? I know this may seem like a dumb question, but is there any significance behind the name? Thanks, and I share the show." Alrighty, so I'm going to bring the cat out of the hat on this one. I've actually had a lot of people ask me this question. This is the most asked question I've gotten ever since I started this brand. And so, does the Triple J have a meaning? And the answer is yes, it does. It does, in fact, have a meaning. So, all the 3 J's mean something, and I'm going to give you them all here really quick and then give you a rundown. The first of which is Jesus, the second of which is Jeldricks, and third is journey. So, wind it back. Obviously, Jesus, I'm a man of faith. I've been a Christian for my whole life, and I would not be here. I'll say this confidently. I would not be here today if it wasn't for Jesus in my life and having him take on my sin for the cross. If you want to learn more about that, I'm more than welcome to have a conversation with you about it. It's changed my life dramatically, and I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be who I am right now without it. That's very minimal answer. If you want to go further in depth, you can contact me, message me, whatever. The second of which, as I'm sure you can imagine, is Jeldurks. So Jeldurks is my last name. I'm very blessed to have parents and 2 siblings that have corralled me, kept me up. They mean a lot to me. And so I wanted to incorporate that in some way. Obviously, not just my direct family, but also extended family. I've been very blessed with that. And so I wanted to have that be a part of the brand that I have and have the family aspect be a part of my brand and what I represent. It's actually very similar. If you haven't taken a look at my marketing case study on Pata and Nike's running team, go take a look at it. It actually goes very much so into depth on the whole family-oriented design, mantra, ethos behind Pata's brand, and it's really fascinating. So I want to incorporate that within my own personal brand, right? So I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just make my own, type of deal. And the third of which is journey. We are all, doesn't matter if you're in marketing or not, we are all on a journey in life. And some of us are farther along in that journey than others. And part of figuring out your journey is discovering what you really want to do with your life. For me, that's changed a whole bunch within the past 6-7 years. I thought I wanted to be a PT, physical therapist. Went into a class a couple months in, didn't like it. Okay. So I went more into the entrepreneur side within books. Okay. Did a project on it, didn't really like it. Okay. I tried e-commerce. I did that. Wasn't really my thing, right? I tried doing an agency, didn't really like it as much. Okay. You figure it out, right? So now I have a personal brand that I'm building out and sharing content with you that's currently listening right now. And I will say, out of the projects and things that I have built within the past 10 years, I can confidently say that this one is the thing that I enjoy the most, by far. No problem. And that's really it. So those are the basic 3, Jesus, Jeldurks, and Journey. If you want to learn more about those and about myself, you can feel free to take a look at the About page on my website at triplejstudios.com. That also kind of takes a glimpse of that a little briefly. I will plan on making a bigger video, and it might be a real talk that I do later on for the show. But for right now, that's just a little glimpse of what I wanted to highlight. All right, so hopefully that answers the question. But let's get in to our second one. And the second one is a really good one. And if you know me, you'll understand why. It reads, "Hey Nick, I'm about to graduate college tomorrow, and I want to build a professional brand myself. I want to focus on the media and photography side of things, but don't know how to stand out since everyone is a photographer out here in Colorado. How do I stand out from my competition while also building credibility despite my young age?" There's a lot to unpack here in this question. First of all, congratulations on graduating college tomorrow. That's a big accomplishment, and you should be proud of that. The second thing that I will say, since being out in Colorado myself, I can attest that it seems like 1 out of every 2 or every 3 people is into photography and doing stuff, which, hey, since I can't do that, I think it's cool. But it's a very saturated and competitive industry to get in. And so how do you build a brand that stands out, but also maintains its credibility despite being a young age, being 22, 23, when you're going up against these professional companies that have been doing it for potentially 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years? That's a big challenge. So let's take a look at this, right? The big thing here, based off this question, it sounds like you're focusing a lot more on your age than you probably should. Okay. So the biggest thing that I would recommend for you is to focus and pivot on experience and quality and not your age. So when you're building, let's say, either a social media platform or you want to build a portfolio website, right? A lot of these independent photographers will have a website that basically showcase all of the different projects they've worked on. You know, whether it's wedding shoots, engagement shoots, graduation, whatever it is, right? There's there's probably a lot more within that. They want to showcase all that stuff. And so the big thing for you, especially at this age, is to focus on the quality you have. You don't necessarily have to say your age or even how long you've been doing it. If your work is far better than anything else, that's where it's really going to help elevate your skill. And the other thing I'd say, really building off of that, is quality speaks greater volume than anything else in the world. Okay? Here is an example of this. Okay? Brands have a brand image. They have a reputation. They have all the stuff that goes on. Okay? Great. So let's take, for example, you go to a typical department store. They might have a basic run-of-the-mill leather bag. Okay, let's say a purse, whatever you want to call it. They have a leather bag. It's okay quality. You're looking at about $200-$300 per se, or if it's a bigger brand, maybe it's $500. Okay? Quality on that might seem okay, but if you go to an independent leather goods manufacturer, they have their own mom and pop shop they've had for several years, and you get a handmade leather bag, the exact same kind, the exact same style, I guarantee you the quality on that bag is going to be far better than if you were to get the one at a department store like Macy's per se. Yes, it might cost you double the price. It might be $1,000, but what you're getting is the quality that you want. And the thing within the photography business itself, quality speaks volumes, okay? You can definitely tell when a individual, when a company nails a photography business, when they nail a photography project. And people value that, especially when it comes to weddings. So within this question, it doesn't really relate to any specific type of photography or media per se. It just kind of says it as an umbrella. But especially if you're starting out, focus on the quality more than anything else. And I guarantee you it will take you farther than you probably think. Okay? Here's the big thing. Here's a golden nugget I want to give you. The people who win more, the people who find more success, the people that win more clients, the people that build companies greater than they could ever think of or imagine, are those who let their work do the talking instead of themselves, right? It can be related to media. It can be related to athletics. All the guys that are making millions of dollars within professional athletics, they didn't get there because they talked their way to the top. In fact, talking is not even a part of it. It's because of the actions and the skills that they actually do to get them there. Yes, you can talk your way to the top per se, or at least higher up within photography and media. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the skills you have and the quality of the products that you perform and give out. So focus on the quality and the product itself and not so much of your age. If you're able to do that, it doesn't really matter. You can go up to any door and say, hey, listen, these are the projects that I've done. Let me do that for you at your next engagement shoot. And if they're like, oh, you seem really young, they'll quickly take that back once they see all of the amazing work that you do. And I promise you, you're going to get more clients that way. I just guarantee it. And one quick thing before we get into our final question. Guys, if you have any questions that you want to ask me, if you have a pressing question on your mind, you're wondering this one thought for a while and you just need some advice, send me a message. Send me a message on my LinkedIn, or you can email me at triplejstudios, 2 S's, @gmail.com. Okay. And man, I believe you should be able to ask questions on the Spotify app itself. So if you want to, you can even go down to the poll and type in a question. I think you can do that. If not, I'll make sure that it is accessible for you to do that. Alrighty. 2 questions down. We have our third and final question here. Let's take a look at it. Alrighty, it reads, "Hey Nick, how important is AI within a marketing strategy? It seems like AI is taking over the world at this point, and it definitely has made everything faster. But part of me thinks that it might be as necessary as some people think. It might not be as necessary as some people think, and may even be harmful when used too much. What are your thoughts on this topic, Nick? Any advice is appreciated." Yeah, thank you for asking this question. This is great, especially now since AI has definitely been a raging topic within the world as of the past 2 to 3 years. Bouncing off the question, this person, whoever said it, is absolutely right. AI is making everything a lot faster, okay? You go to ChatGPT and type in any question you want. You don't have to Google search nothing. This is the new Google. How do I make a fruit smoothie? Boop. It gives you something. It spits out a bunch of information and it gives you it. How do I train for a marathon? Boop. It gives you it within a couple seconds. What does this mean? What does that mean? What did Archimedes mean when he said this quote here? What did Aristotle say when all this stuff, right? Obviously, I'm making this stuff up. But really, you can go in and literally put whatever you want. It is that simple. So AI, no surprise, is making everything faster. And essentially, it is not replacing work. It is refining work. A lot of the conversation and topics surrounding AI, especially in the beginning, were related to, I'm going to lose my job, to AI. Basically the whole Terminator side of things where AI is going to take over the world. I'm not going to have my job. I'm not going to be able to do basic functions. I'm going to have an AI robot walk my dog, or even have an AI dog to begin with to walk my dog, or whatever you want to call it. It's not replacing any of it. It's actually refining and making simple processes more efficient. Okay, so process manufacturing and packaging goods. You don't necessarily need a whole assembly line to do all that for you. Now you might just need one main artificial intelligence piece of equipment that does all of it for you. Okay, this is working for big retailers. This is working for car manufacturers. This is working for a bunch of people. And it's wildly effective. So as it pertains to marketing, marketing strategies are definitely being made faster than ever before. In fact, if you wanted to, you can go into ChatGPT and say, create me an entire marketing campaign around X product that sells for $39.99, and boom, it'll give you something, okay? You can go in and say, create me a brand that promotes X and Y and is within this price range. Boom, it does that for you. But here's the thing. Just because AI makes things faster does not mean it makes it as effective, right? This comes down to the basic 3-point sales tactic, okay? So when it comes to, let's say, I'm trying to think of an example. Let's say a roofing company. You need to redo your roof on a house, roof, whatever. It's a dog, bark, okay? You get the picture. You have it, right? So they can either do it fast, they can do it well, and let me restart. Everyone wants 3 things. For the roofing company, they want it done fast, they want it done well, and they want it to be as inexpensive as possible. Now, here's the thing. Within any company, product, or service, you can get 2 out of the 3. You cannot get all 3. So especially as it pertains to a roofing service, you can have it be fast and done well, but it's going to be costly. It's going to be expensive. You can have it done fast and inexpensive, but it's not going to be done well. You can have it be done well and inexpensive, but it's not going to be done fast. So as it pertains to AI, it's inexpensive, it's done very fast, but it's not necessarily done well. And people forget that third part far more often than we think. Oh, excuse me. That coffee's really kicking in. But that's the gist of it, right? So you want things to be done well. AI might not necessarily give you that, might not necessarily do it. So how do you combat this? Well, use AI as a helpful tool in your toolkit, not the all-in-one tool, okay? It's not going to be able to do everything, but it can certainly help with some things, right? That's the big thing. You have to be able to take a look at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture when it comes to these types of products and services is this: what do people value when it comes to marketing campaigns? When you see an ad, what do you value? What do you find as trustworthy? What do you find as something to where you want to invest your money into? It's not necessarily a 4K video done super well, edited like crazy, Mr. Beast video type content, right? And his content is great, but it's not necessarily the most effective marketing. Nowadays, especially in 2024, because AI has been so rampant within the world, people want to have a connection again. People want to build relationships again. And so what people value today is people value the personal, relational content and relationships that they can build and foster over a period of time. That's what people value. That's why people enjoy going into stores now and building relationships with companies and with other employees to help them with whatever they need, right? When you go into an Apple store now, the reason why Apple has been so successful, especially throughout the pandemic and even today, is because every time you go in there, you are constantly having a one-on-one interaction with an Apple employee, whether it's at the Genius Bar and getting something that needs to be repaired, whether you're buying a new product, whether it's a Mac or an iPhone, or if you're just browsing around and taking a look to see what you might need and just want to have a couple questions answered. They have done a great job of relating with the customer. And that's why they're doing well. And a lot of these smaller companies or dropshipping companies are having a really difficult time right now because they just do not have this at all. In fact, not only do they not have it, they don't even care to have it. And yet that is the sole reason why their business is not doing well. And part of the reason why I want to build this podcast is so I can have a more personal relationship with whoever is listening, specifically with you, to just share some insight with you. And whether it's through a Q&A or real talk or marketing case study deep dive, I want to provide the best content for you in whatever way that it is, okay? And that's going to look very differently in a lot of different lights. And being able to provide value is huge. And AI can provide value to the business, but it cannot necessarily provide value to the customer. So these are big things to think about moving forward, especially when using AI for whatever reason. And as we go from kind of the search engine AI to being able to create pictures, videos, whatever type of deliverable you want, basically, it's going to be more important to have the genuine, organic aspect of it within it. And I'll give you insight into what I do currently. A lot of the work that I do is not using AI. In fact, 99% of what I do is not AI. I don't use artificial intelligence to create these questions. I don't use AI to create my case studies, to build my website, to build different newsletters. I don't do that for a lot of reasons. One of which so I can build my skills. 2 is to be more relational with you. And 3 is to actually make quality content that is one of one. Okay? One of one. AI cannot replicate human feelings and experiences. They just can't, right? They can't replicate the feeling of going down a super fast roller coaster. It just can't do that. It can show you what a roller coaster is or a video of what it looks like riding the ride, but it can't describe and express the feeling of actually sitting and being strapped in and going through the roller coaster ride itself. And you can do the same analogy within your business, within your brand, within your life. Okay? So these are things to think about. And I really enjoy this question just because it is such a big deal within our world today. But guys, that is 3 questions for our Q&A. Remember, like I said, if you find the show valuable, share the show. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care.